Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to B'nai Zion. Is it anybody's first time at B'nai Zion? Is it your first time here? Awesome. Okay, great. Some of you have grown up here. Some of you have never been here before. But I know that sometimes when you're in a new place, it makes you a little bit worried. But you don't have to be stressed, because even Avery's not stressed. I think the only one who's stressed is me, because in the last week alone, I think I called her everything but Avery. I don't know how. I just, and some of you know that. I do that sometimes. And I guess I've hit that age. If I start calling you the cat's name, then you know we're in trouble. But, so I'm way more nervous than she is right now, because I'm afraid I'm going to do that. Welcome to Shabbat Services. In some ways, this Shabbat is like any other Shabbat service. We will be doing the same prayers, but in some ways it is above and beyond what we do for Shabbat services, because I'm not going to be leading most of the service. Avery will be leading most of the service, and she will also be called to the Torah. We're going to be reading Torah tonight, which we don't always do, and we don't always do it on a Friday night, but I think that you're going to be very impressed and glad that we did, and you'll see why. So if you're not familiar, everybody's got books in front of them. They're in the pews. If you need more, there's more in the back. There's a bookshelves by the steps over there. If we have young people here who want something to be distracted and not look at the prayer book, we have what I like to call my distracting books back there also that you could look at with more colors and things in them. So you're welcome to use the distracting books. And I'm not going to judge who needs them or who doesn't need them. If you're old and you want something with colors in it, go for it. There are two colors of the book. One is a light gray, which is what most of you have, and I have a dark gray. Anybody who feels they want a dark gray, they're up on that bookshelf also. The dark gray ones and the light gray ones are identical. If you open to any page, you will see that almost all of the book is in English, and that they're the same exact pages for both of the books. So whether they're dark gray or light gray. The dark gray book is bound on this side, so when I turn pages, I feel like I'm turning pages in a Hebrew book. And the light gray book is bound on this side, so if you're turning pages, it feels like you're turning pages in an English book. And it's the same exact pages. If you're watching online, then there is a link on the bottom of the events page or on the bottom of the page at B'nai Zion about watching the service that has a link to a PDF with all the words, so you can read along with us. And if you are online and watching, then some of the pages I gave you were colorful versions of the pages. So if you're not watching online, you're going to want to go back and look at some of them because they're pretty cool. And I'll tell you what we're doing. But I will refer to page numbers, and everybody will be at the same pages. Most of the time in our congregation, if we do Hebrew, there's transliteration, which I like to say looks like English but sounds like Hebrew. You're welcome to try to say the transliteration with us, or most of the time there's also a translation there so that you know what it is that we're saying. And most of the time, if we are doing Hebrew, then we go directly on to whatever the next prayer is. And most of the time, if we're doing English, we're not going to also do it in Hebrew, except for a few select prayers. There are a few other things I have to tell you about. On the sides of your rows, the people who are sitting at the ends, there's a little bag there that says, do not open this until the rabbi tells you to. That means David, mostly. That there is something in that I will tell you about just before we start the Torah service. Many of you already have a clue what it is, but here's your hint. The hint is you are not allowed to eat in the sanctuary. That's a big hint as to what's in there. Do not eat in the sanctuary. That's a hard rule. So having said all that, we are almost ready to begin, but I want to remind you that it's Shabbat. Shabbat is a day of rest, which means that whatever we didn't get done, relax, you look stressed. Yeah, relax. Whatever didn't get done isn't going to get done, and that's okay. We're ready. It's Shabbat. And whatever stresses you had that filled up your week, we are leaving it outside the door. If you didn't leave it outside the door, you can mentally toss them outside, right now and leave them there. They'll either be there when you leave tonight, or you can come back on Sunday morning and get it whenever you want, but leave all the stressors away from here. And just relax. That's what Shabbat is for. This Shabbat is a very special Shabbat, not just because Avery is going to be leading the service as a Bat Mitzvah, but because it is another Jewish holiday as well. If you noticed, outside there will be tonight, it's been building for this, an amazing full moon. And the full moon for this Jewish month is a special holiday that most of us didn't grow up even knowing about, which is so sad because it's an awesome holiday. It's called Tu B'Av. Av is the name of the month. B'Av means in Av. It's Tu, which for complicated reasons means 15. It is the 15th of the month of Av. You would know that it's the 15th of some Jewish month because the middle of the month always has a full moon of every Jewish month. The new moon starts a new month. So it's the full moon in the month of Av starts a holiday which we call Tu B'Av, and it is a love holiday. And if you have never celebrated Tu B'Av before, I encourage you, after services, after the party, to look it up and celebrate, because it starts when we begin Shabbat tonight by blessing the candles, and it ends tomorrow night at like 9 o'clock at night. It ends after Shabbat is over, and it is a holiday filled with love. So be loving, be bold, and celebrate love on this holiday, which is exactly what we're doing by celebrating with Avery and her family. So we are going to begin, and our tradition here is before we start the prayers, which is going to be on page 65, by the way, if you want to start getting ready. We're in service 2, page 65. We relax by taking a deep breath. And let it out slowly without breathing on each other. Try again. Let it out slowly. The pandemic has been difficult for many reasons, and one of them is it's not letting me breathe. We like to breathe on Shabbat. One of the other reasons it's been difficult for us is that she didn't get to do her Bat Mitzvah service when her birthday was. So she's been 13 for a few months, and I told her it was okay if she chose to have a rained out service, that she just couldn't do it, and she decided she wanted to do it. So we have been working hard to get her to do another Torah portion in addition to the one that she had ready for that. So I'm very proud of her. We are going to begin on page 65, and some people are going to find out the hard way that they are doing honors for us today. So do you know that it's your honor? Come on up. Everyone is going to stand up. Most people, if you haven't already heard, then don't worry about it. We're not going to put you on the spot. But some people I wasn't sure about. So page 65, we welcome Shabbat. Welcome Gary and Nancy.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled lights, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotah b'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hail us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let there be joy.
Let there be light.
Let there be peace.
Let there be Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue on pages 167 and 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Amen.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You call us to holiness with the mitzvah of Shabbat, the sign of your love, a reminder of your creative work and of our liberation from Egyptian bondage, our day of days. On Shabbat especially, we hearken to your call to serve you as a holy people. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of Shabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. I didn't think there was that much in there. You are welcome to be seated, but first you have to say Shabbat Shalom. Wish each other a peaceful Sabbath. Someone you came in with, someone you didn't come in with. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Someone you didn't come in with, someone you did come in with. Shabbat Shalom. So we're not singing the words that are in this book. We're going to sing words that we found even easier. It's kind of Hebrew and kind of too easy to be Hebrew. So the words are like this. All you have to do is be able to say Shabbat Shalom, but you also have to be able to say Bim Bam. Bim Bam, Bim 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 Bam, Bim 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 Bam. I forgot to tell you something important. You can sing and make a fool of yourself if you want, because the people near you are not going to know. They'll never tell, and the people online can't hear you at all. They can only hear whoever has a microphone, and you don't have a microphone. So let her hear what you sound like. It'll make her feel better. But try singing it. Thank you. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom. Here comes the high part. Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. I will neither confirm nor deny that she wanted us to sing that one again later in the service if you did a good job. So I'll see what she said later. We continue on page 67. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness and of the impulse within us for justice and mercy, we pray that this hour of worship may be one of vision and inspiration. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in search and in need, all who bring to this place the offering of their hearts. May our worship here lead us to fulfill our words and intentions with acts of kindness, peace, and love. We have come together to strengthen our bonds with our people Israel. Like Jews of ancient past, we celebrate the grandeur of creation. Like Jews of every age, we echo our people's ancient call for justice. Our celebration is a sharing of memory and hope. We are Jews, but each of us is unique. We stand apart and alone with differing feelings and insights, and yet we are not entirely alone and separate, for we are children of one people and one heritage. Our celebration unites many separate selves into a single chorus, and we are one in search of life's meaning. All of us know despair and exaltation. All bear burdens. All have moments of weakness and times of strength. All sing songs of sorrow and love. In this circle of hope, in the presence of the sacred, may the heart come to know itself and its best, finding a fresh impulse to love the good. May our celebration lead us to work for the good, and may this Shabbat give strength to us and to our people, Israel. This song is especially appropriate because we're all here together, and it says, behold, how good, how pleasant it is when we're all here together It's supposed to be around. So see what you can do with that. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Many are the generations of Israel, and in every age we have sought the living God. You forgot to tell me to breathe, go slower. Through Sabbath rest and worship. This time and place hold the power to increase our joy in the eternal. O God, even as we seek you in the sanctuary, help us to know that your glory fills all space. Make us understand that you are with us at all times, if we but open our minds to you. We feel the presence of your Spirit in our homes and on our ways. We see the beauty of your creation in mountain, sea, and sky, and in the human form. We hear you in the silence of our own hearts, speaking the truths the heart knows. May we be your witness to the world, your messenger to all the earth. May we show forth your image within us, the divine spark that makes us human.
Yit gadol v'yit kadash shmei rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divra hirute, v'yam lichmal hite, b'chayechon
uvyomechon uv'chay dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, uvizman kariv.
v'yimeru.
Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach. La'alamu al me'almaya yitbarach.
Yitbara v'yit tabash, v'yit pa'ar v'yit shema v'yit nase, v'yit hadar v'yit ale v'yit hala, shemei dekudesha
Brichu.
le'ila min kol birhata v'shirata.
Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'meru. Amen.
Barahu et Adonai hamivorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
As day departs, as the dark of night descends, we lift our eyes to the heavens. In awe and wonder, our hearts cry out.
Eternal God, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
A vast universe, who can know it? What mind can fathom it? We look out to the endless suns and ask, what are we? What are our dreams and our hopes? What are we, that you are mindful of us? What are we, that you should care for us?
And yet, within us abides a measure of your spirit. You are remote, but oh how near, ordering the stars in the vast solitudes of the dark, yet whispering in our minds that you are closer than the air we breathe. For you have made us little less than divine, and crowned us with glory and honor. With love and awe we turn to you, and in the dark of evening seek the light of your presence.
One and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem. to le'olam va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha chayom alevavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lektecha v'derech u'v'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotefot b'eineinecha u'katavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'sharecha l'man tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'elochem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lechem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God.
In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness, a world waiting to still be redeemed, give us, O source of good, the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love.
From Egypt, the house of bondage, we were delivered. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, we bound ourselves to your purpose. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, we survived oppression and exile, time and again overcoming the forces that would have destroyed us.
Our failings are many, our faults are great, yet it has been our glory to bear witness to our God and to keep alive in dark ages the vision of a world redeemed.
May this vision never fade. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing with one accord, as Moses, Miriam, and Israel sang at the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot oseh felech, nora tehilot oseh felech. We continue at the top of page 74.
V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up to find our hearts waiting to do your will.
We praise you, Guardian of Israel, whose love gives light to all the world.
O God of Israel, may our worship on this day help us grow in loyalty to our covenant with you and to the way of life it demands, the way of gentleness and justice, the path of truth and peace.
V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise for the tefillah section of the service, which begins on page 76. What? I forgot to turn it on. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shema B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah.
Source of all being, we turn to you as there are people in ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, they sought you in their lives.
Now their quest is ours. Sorry, that was your part. I'm used to doing it all by myself. You do it. I don't have to do it.
Now their quest is ours. Help us, O God, to celebrate the wonder of being. Give us the courage to search for truth. Teach us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring nearer to realization the great hope inherited from ages past, for a world transformed by liberty, justice, and peace. Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
You are the source of life and blessing.
Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children.
You are the support of the falling.
Help us to lift up the fallen.
You are the author of freedom.
Help us to free the captive.
You are our hope in death as in life.
Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy declare your glory day by day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy God.
You may be seated. No, not you.
Oh.
I need you here. Just like I forgot to turn on my guitar sound, I forgot. What? It's that time. You ready?
It's that thing.
What?
It's that
That's okay. Ready?
Yeah.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
It must look like this was falling off.
It is.
Center it. Put it back on. There you go. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomerei, shomerei, shomerei Shabbat, korei ומלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, קורא עונג שבת. מקדשי, מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם יספעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, קורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, קורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, קורא עונג שבת. You can sit down. We continue at the top of page 79 and we read together. God of Israel, may our worship on this Sabbath bring us near to all that is high and holy. May it bind the generations in bonds of love and sharing, and unite us with our people in common hope and faith. And through Sabbath rest and worship, may we learn to find fulfillment and joy in the vision of peace for all the world. You are with us in our prayer, in our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Eternal source of good, we give thanks for the numberless gifts and blessings that fill our days, for life itself and its endless variety, for all that sustains body and mind, for love and friendship, for the delights of the senses, and for the excellence of your Torah, which deepens our life and enriches our days. Teach us, God of wonders, to work for a just and compassionate society, where all may share your gifts in the joy of freedom. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country, that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. We now take a moment to say the prayers that we came with, that were in our hearts. You could use what's at the bottom of page 80, or say your own silent prayer. We take a moment to pray silently. I think that was God calling. Yehiyu l'ratzon, may the words of my mouth Imre fi v'hegyon libi, and the meditations of my heart lefanecha be acceptable to you. Lefanecha be acceptable to you. Adonai Tzuri, God my rock, Tzuri v'goali, my rock and my redeemer. Adonai Tzuri, God my rock, v'goali and redeemer. At this point in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating. We turn to the inside back cover of our prayer book. And I am going to invite you to call out names of anyone for whom you would like us to be saying prayers. We have more people in the area we know now who have been getting COVID. We have people who are still recuperating from those building collapses. We have people who are escaping fires in the West. There are many situations that have been going on, but if you have people who you know who'd like us to be praying for, I invite you to call out those names. Remember, they can't hear us online unless you have a microphone on. For all the names that we've heard called out, and for all we've chosen to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayer with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. And it has become our tradition to add a blessing on behalf of our military, police, firefighters, EMTs, doctors, nurses, and veterans. Those people who run into dangerous situations so that we can be safe. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we've entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom, protecting us, or healing us in this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve. Give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. This time in our service, we're about to turn to the Torah part of the service. Because of the pandemic, we've had to change some things. So I'm going to explain what some of the things are that you can expect, and some of the things we're going to tweak a little bit. So one of the things is that the Torah, for those of you who know, there are Torah scrolls in here. They have the 5 books of Moses written on them. It took somebody a year to write each one of them. And Avery is going to read from the book of Deuteronomy today. She has a Torah portion that is arguably one of the most powerful Torah portions. I mean, I would say that all the words are powerful, but it's one of the most powerful Torah portions in the whole Torah. It was a little bit of a coincidence that she picked this, because if you remember, her birthday happened months ago. So when she got to choose something, she said, well, I'd like to maybe do it during the summer. We looked at some Torah portions, and I was very proud of her for picking this Torah portion, because among other things, some of the things that we have been discussing are things like the Decalogue. the Ten Commandments, and a selection that she read to you from before, which she'll talk to you about a little bit later. She's going to give you some insights of what she's gained about this. But it's a very powerful section, and you're going to be proud of how she represents it to you by reading from the Torah and by interpreting it. But I want to remind you that Torah is not something that lives in this holy closet up here, but it is something that is part of us, that we keep it in us and with us, and we live by it. And so when we take out this Torah, we are going to march it around. Now, before the pandemic, and this is sad but true, one of the first things that Jewish tradition had to stop before we knew what was passing the virus was we didn't touch and kiss. We didn't touch and kiss the Torah. We didn't touch and kiss the mezuzah. We stopped doing that. And so we're going to do a modified version because it was really important to Avery that we march this Torah around so everybody knows it's not something that lives far away. It's something that belongs with us. But we're going to not do the kiss part. So we're going to touch. Let's see if we could demonstrate what we're going to do. So the Torah is going to come up one aisle and go back down. We're only going to go in the center. So unfortunately, the people who picked the other sides, the wall sides, they're not going to be that close to the Torah. So imagine that we're walking by and imagine that that's the Torah. I'm going to touch the Torah. I'm not going to kiss it. I'm going to resist. But I'm going to share what I love to call Torah electricity. I'm going to pass it to you, and you're going to pass it to the next person, and everyone can feel that Torah electricity and feel like they had access to the Torah. We'll go up, we'll come back. When we come back, hopefully everybody now, thank you, that was very good. When we come back, hopefully everybody who has a role in the Torah service knows who they are. If you are undressing the Torah, you will follow our parade back up. And if you're lifting and dressing, you'll do that later. But as part of, I'm going to explain what you're going to do with those bags, the thing that you're not supposed to eat during services. Yes, there's something in there that you're not supposed to eat. There's candy in those bags, and it's not for intermission. It's supposed to be to show Avery how sweet learning is. And we're supposed to take the candy out of the bag, and I'll show you when to start taking the candy out of the bag. Leave it there now, and pass it to everybody. I saw that. And pass it to everybody on the row. I saw it. Everybody on the row, they weren't eating it. I was just picking on them. Everybody on the row so that everybody gets at least one piece. There's not a lot in there. There's a lot of people here, though, because you're going to be gently tossing, not even softball tossing, gently tossing the candy at Avery. She's going to be right here front and center. But I want to remind you that front and center means there's a glass door behind her. I don't know what we were thinking when we renovated the sanctuary and put a glass door behind the candy recipient. But you're going to toss it gently and try to pelt her with that candy so she can lovingly feel how sweet it is to learn. Don't open it yet. I'll tell you when, because I don't want you to be distracting during the Torah service itself yet. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. While we're marching around with the Torah, you can open it and pass it out, and then we'll all sit down again, and then you'll have it in your hand and warm it up for her so that you can when we finish pelting her, I'm going to ask the kids, anybody who still needs candy, to come and grab the candy and clean it up for us and eat it as you leave the sanctuary, not in the sanctuary, please. Okay, we begin our Torah service on page 141. And all of the Hebrew that she's read so far, I can't tell you how impressed I am with her, how amazingly she did. Amazingly she did. I want to point something important out, and that is that the fact that she had extra months, I wish I could tell you it meant that we spent extra months practicing, because we kind of took some big breaks practicing because who wanted to do Zoom, and we kind of took a break over Zoom, and we took a break for longer periods. So we kind of did it for the last few months, but I am so amazed with how well she did that. But with all of that, some of you already know this, the selection she's going to read from the Torah has no vowel markers in it and no punctuation in it. And she's going to do something that most people don't do at this congregation, and you will see what she's going to do. We turn to page 141. I'm going to ask the people who are opening the ark to start making their way up here. Assembled at a mountain, our people, still bent from oppression, found you, found your Torah, found your truth, and embraced the destiny that has shaped worlds. Help us still to shape the world according to your will. Help us to teach and to learn and to hear your word anew, and to find in it our path to goodness and truth. We are going to continue on watch page 141. We'll come back to that and sing that later, but now we're going to turn to page 142 in the middle of the page, and as the ark is open, please rise. El harachamim hetiva v'rtzonecha et Sion tivne chomot Yerushalayim tivne chomot Yerushalayim ki v'cha levad batachnu melech elam v'nisa adon olamim. Havugod el Eloheinu, utnu chavod la Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael bekedushato. Beit Yaakov lechuven elcha be'or Adonai, O house of Jacob, come, let us walk by the light of our God. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlul Adonai iti, uneromima Shemo yachdav. O magnify the Eternal One with me, and together let us exalt God's name. Now we go back to page 141, because there's a transliterated song there that we're going to sing as we march around. Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, ha'olam omed. Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, ha'olam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim. Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, ha'olam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gmilut chasadim. Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, Al shlosha divarim, ha'olam omed. You may be seated. I'm sorry. And I need. My copy. You ready? She's so ready. Ta'amod chaya bat David ve'ami bat Mitzvah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach L'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamivarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torah tov. Baruch Atah Adonai Notena Torah. That good? Here, okay. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavotcha chayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'divarta bam b'shiptecha b'beitecha u'v'lektecha v'adera u'v'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotefot b'ineinecha u'katavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'sharecha. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'torheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai notena Torah.
Amen. I'm hearing candy. I shouldn't be hearing candy when we're reading the Torah. I need the lifter and I need the dressers to please come up now. When the Torah is lifted, we are going to sing what's on page 145. It's not going to last long, so you better get there and leave again, or fake it or something. You'll see him lift the Torah so that you can see the inside of it. You can see the part that she read. Try to get 3 panels. So much. Bring it down to the fulcrum. And ready? Go under. Go. Okay, ready? V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Now, while they're dressing the Torah, Avery is going to tell you something about what she's going to first tell you what she read.
The Torah selection I read was from the book of Deuteronomy, beginning with chapter 6, verse 4. We read a translation of the selection during the service a short while ago, but I would also like to share this alternate translation with you. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside of your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God.
Now she's going to tell you something about what she interpreted. I have my microphone off.
The selection I read to you in Hebrew was only a small part of what is in the whole Torah portion for this Shabbat. The story is that Moses is standing in front of the children of Israel right before they go into the Promised Land. Moses knows he will not be going with them, so he is trying to make sure to remind them of the guidelines and laws they should know. It is a wonderful portion that includes not only the selection I read, but right before Moses says that, he repeats the Decalogue, also known as the Ten Commandments. He first taught them to the children of Israel 40 years before when they had recently left slavery. It is interesting that when Moses teaches them now, he doesn't say the exact same thing that he did the first time. That surprised me. He was repeating what God said. Why didn't he just say it the same way he did the first time? I asked Rabbi Jana, and she and I talked about many reasons why they might have been different. Then she said, we really don't know why. That surprised me even more. Then we talked about how wonderful it is that we are still talking about the same questions that have been asked for the past few thousand years. I realized that a part of why I love being Jewish is that sometimes it gives me answers, but sometimes it makes me ask more questions. My Torah selection includes what some people would say is one of the most important answers for being Jewish, what we call the Shema. We say, "Listen, Israel," in other words, listen, Jewish people, Adonai our God, Adonai is one. It provides many answers about who we are and reminds us that we belong to something bigger than ourselves. We are part of the people Israel. It reminds us that Adonai is our God. We knew that even though other people may worship other gods or even many gods, we have one God. Even though I could have been talking mostly about the details about the Decalogue, I chose to read the selection I read because it gives us many ways of living Jewishly. It reminds us to live the ways God taught us all the time and everywhere. I have learned that being Jewish includes many of what I believe now, how I live my life, and being able to ask questions. I think it is cool that all of these things were in my Torah portion. It almost makes me glad that I had to postpone my celebration till after the pandemic. I'm just kidding. Now that I am a Bat Mitzvah, I look forward to continuing to learn more and ask many more questions. My first question is, why did you all come here tonight? I know that you had other things to do than listen to someone read Hebrew. What I have learned from this is that you are here to help me and my family celebrate this important occasion. I really appreciate you all, whether you are here in person, watching online, or whether you live nearby or came from far away, whether you have been to a Jewish services all your life or this is your first time. It really means a lot to me. I see some of my friends here. It's a wonderful thing to get to share this with you. I know how excited you've all been for this. To all my religious school teachers, thank you for helping me to get where I am today. Okay, Maddie. Thank you for always making sure we are doing what we're supposed to, even though you scare me sometimes. You have always watched Kate and me to help us stay out of trouble ever since we were young. Thank you. Kate. I'm so glad we are so close in age and got to grow up together, not just because it means I had a built-in friend, but also someone who lives nearby. You know me so well, and I know you well enough to know that your favorite present is an empty glue stick. I'm really glad to have such great cousins. Aunt Anna. I'm so glad that you're my aunt. I remember you taking care of me ever since I was little, and still do. And taking care of the younger me is a lot of work, so good job. Uncle Breck, you are so funny and always make me smile. You are the best at corny jokes, and I want to sincerely apologize for the one time Kate and I hid from you for 3 hours in Cyport, and you had to call the police. Even though that was really fun. Aunt Maggie and JC, I'm so glad we get to have an aunt and uncle who come to visit. I love it when JC would chase us around with a Nerf gun and we would play hide and go seek. And when Aunt Maggie would make sure we don't get too crazy. Thank you for coming out here from New Orleans. It means a lot to me. Uncle Joe. I love when you take me places, like when we go out to eat. It's so much fun spending time with you, and we have always got so much to talk about. It's nice having someone who understands me and my fashion sense. Garrett. Thank you for always looking out for me. It was so much fun when we were younger and we would team up against Arden because she was being annoying. I'm so glad I get to have you as my brother, and I'm sorry that it upsets you when I take over your room while you're off at college. Arden. Thank you for always making me laugh and giving me advice, even though you get on my nerves sometimes. Your advice always comes in handy. I'm sorry that it upsets you that I always take your clothes, even after you tell me not to. This won't be the last time. I love it when you and your friends hang out with me and my friends. It's very fun. And I love how you can sometimes be my personal driver and take me places, but you're still not the boss of me. Dad. Oh boy. It means a lot to me how you have always helped me with all my sports and kept being my soccer coach, even though I sometimes cry when you yell at me on the sidelines. I understand that you just want me to get even better, even though you may have a different way of showing it sometimes. For example, you pushed me to do this, and now I am very thankful that you did. I'm so lucky to have a dad who is there for me and supports me through everything. Thank you. Love you, Dad. Mom. Now that it looks like Dad may cry, I want you to know that I realize I owe you a huge thank you. You helped me organize this whole thing, and it couldn't have happened without you. And it's not just about tonight. Most of the things in my life couldn't have happened without you. You are always there for me whenever I need to talk about any kind of problem, even though you tell me to go to Dad when I need math help. Mom and Dad, thank you both for putting up with me for the past 13 years. I can be a lot to handle, and you guys handled me pretty well. I mean, look at how I turned out so far. I really love you. I love you both. And I'm sorry.
You ready?
I forgot to do you.
It's up to you.
And Rabbi, thank you so much for always helping me learn Hebrew. I mean, when I started, I was not good at all. And I was like, I'm so not ready for this. But now that I've done it, I'm really glad I did. And it couldn't have happened without you ever. Thank you so much.
All right, once the Torah is out of the way, take aim, go.
Okay.
Gently, 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 gently. That sounded like gently, gently. There are senior citizens getting pelted on their heads. Gently, 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 gently. Nice shot.
Kate's still going.
Gently. That's not surprising, is it?
I didn't think. Yeah.
All right. Nice, nice. All right, now I need everybody, the Torah's coming back in. Stop throwing. Everybody please clean it up. Clean up, clean up. Clean up, clean up. I need kids. Anybody who is
There goes Kate.
13 and under has to come up and help us clean up. 13 and under, come on, help clean up. Help clean up, help clean up. That's what I'm talking about.
Look at Kate go. Kate's
That's
getting
what I'm talking about.
Good job, Kate.
All right, 13 and over now. Anybody who's 13 and over can come help clean up
That's
too.
not me, right?
There's a lot of candy. I can't have a service and smoosh the candy on the floor. I need more help. Sheesh. You are
There
not
goes
good at
Arden.
this. Yeah,
There goes
really.
Arden.
That's not, no. You guys are not good at cleaning up. I don't know. That's why I didn't want you to eat in the sanctuary, because you're going to leave a mess. You're already leaving a mess and you're not even eating it. So at this point in our service, Amy and David get to come. Oh, yeah. You get to come and bless her. Well, I guess I have to clean up the mess. Where's my basket? Dum-dee-dum. Socket.
I usually wing a lot of these things, so I got here, we didn't get here till when, Rabbi, 5:40?
Well, yeah.
We're really on time. But everybody say cheese.
Because pictures were supposed to be at 5:30. I'm just saying.
That's right, but, this is when we show up. So I actually said, well, I'll start writing stuff on a little notepad. Rabbi gave me something to write on, so it's terrible. First, thank you, Rabbi. She is such a great rabbi. I mean, I've been a member of this congregation since forever, our family, forever. And we've gone through many rabbis, and you're by far the best. And you're so great with the parents, the kids. It's just, it really is great. And I know I'm hard to deal with.
No.
To the family, our family, thank you for coming. Near and far. I know we have a lot of family on the West Coast and the Northeast that weren't able to come, that are watching remotely. but certainly Avery's friends also. It's been great, y'all have been able to share with this. And it's a blessing that we're able to do this, because with the way the pandemic was and everything was shut down, everything was shut down here. We didn't have services for a year.
For more than a year, yeah.
Except on Zoom, which Rabbi really did a great job, and Max
On YouTube.
too. Max is hiding back here. He runs all the electronics. But so it's great that we weren't able to put this off a little bit and get it in person. Avery is just so talented in sports, in just academics. She's a great artist. She's a great sibling. She's a great daughter. She's obviously, with the things she said about Art and Garrett, she's also a great liar. But no, you're not. Y'all get along at least 5% of the time. It's okay. But no, she's just so great to be around. She's so loving and caring. It's just, and I think that's why she has so many friends. And she's very fortunate to have the friends she has, because all of those girls are loving and caring too. It's a great group they have together. And I think I've said this with all my kids. It takes a village. Obviously, everybody's heard the old African proverb, but it really does. Especially in today's environment. We can't raise a kid by ourselves. It takes other parents and other kids to do things with. And it's just been a great journey with Avery, and I know she will do great things. I don't know what that is yet, but I think it's either a rabbi.
That's right, she could be a rabbi.
She's talked about that, or law school, one of the two, because she Arden, and Garrett have come up with some incredible arguments about some very mundane things, to the point that I just throw my hands up and just walk away and just, you know what, I'm out. And she can't, the girls don't argue with Amy, because that's just a no-win. I constantly tell them, why are you arguing with a 13-year-old? There's no win there, but she does. She does anyway. But you did a fantastic job. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I know you'll do great things in the future. And we've looked at that other family that wanted to adopt you. So after they were waiting for the Bat Mitzvah to be complete, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
So okay.
Okay.
All right. But thanks everyone for coming. Great job, Avery.
So while you're standing here, we're going to say this blessing for her. We're going to thank God for giving us life, sustaining us, and helping to reach this special moment. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. Did they get hugs?
We're going to do something that's never been done.
Uh-oh.
Come right here. Come on. No, we're going to take a group. We're going to take a giant selfie.
What?
Everybody ready?
Why has this never been done?
Why has this never been done? Because it's just too cool.
Two Shabbos. Two Shabbos. Too cool. And two Shabbos. This is true. Thank you, David. David's not difficult for us to handle at all. We continue on page 146. I have to invite my ark openers for the returning of the Torah on page 146. Avery, you'll be really proud of me. First of all, I think I've said your name correctly every single time so far.
I'm
And
proud.
second of all, there was at least one Bat Mitzvah where I forgot to return the Torah, so I'm way ahead of the game right now. Page 146, everyone please rise as the ark is open. Yes. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai ki nisgav shemo levado. Let us praise the eternal God whose name alone is exalted. Hodo ha'eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehiyah lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael ha'am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. At the bottom of page 146, God's teaching is perfect, reviving the soul.
God's
word is unfailing, making wise the simple. God's precepts are right, delighting the mind. God's mitzvah is clear, giving light to the eyes. God's doctrine is pure, enduring forever. God's guidance is good and altogether just. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you, my Torah. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. You may be seated. You aren't seated. Thank you and thank you.
Okay.
We are now going to invite some congregants up, very important congregants. And I didn't tell you this. So David has been the president of the Brotherhood for life. And before him, there have been other presidents for life. And I am going to let one of the past presidents for life and another past president of the congregation come up and give a gift to the Bat Mitzvah, to Avery, Mr. Mitch Neustadt. I'm going to let him come up and give the gift. Would you like to stand over here near her? Or you can stand at that microphone. We have two options for microphones here for you.
I've been vaccinated.
Yay! I knew it. But talk into the microphone. Thank you.
Okay. Avery, Elizabeth, we're super proud of you. I want to congratulate you on a wonderful job. We're so proud of you for doing so well. I gave you an A+. Maybe the rabbi's going to get an A-.
I did make all those mistakes. It's true.
Yeah, see, you did the deal. Being the youngest of a child, I understand. I was the youngest child. I had that big brother that was an Eagle Scout. You have that big brother that's an Eagle Scout. You're an artist, so you understand. My sister was an artist and actually became a very professional one. And I couldn't draw a straight line without the ruler. But we all both learned to do our own special things and do our own things that are good. Now, your dad, Dave, I have known a long time, before he was your age. I did. And he was very good friends with my son, Rand, what we called him at that time. And one night, your daddy said he was going to spend the night over at our house. But my son said he was spending the night over at his house. So that is one of the little things I know about him. I've got other good things if you want to know later. The Brotherhood has gotten this prayer book done for you. This is the one she studied with all along. This is the new tradition here. We get a brand new prayer book and they start their studies with it. And after they've done their bar mitzvah, because they've marked their markings in it, we have engraved on the front of it. I didn't notice you ever noticed it. Yes, you did? Mm-hmm. It's got her name engraved on the front, and it's got here, proudly presented to Avery Elizabeth Brainis in honor of her bar mitzvah, July the 23rd, 2001, from the B'nai Zion congregation and the Brotherhood. And we're very proud of you, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll call up the president, also for life, of the sisterhood. And I wanted to explain that David is also now the president of the federation. And Bethany is also the director of the federation. And it just shows how important your family is. Your mom is always here for us. When I first met her, she kept saying, people would say, is she Jewish? What faith is she? And she'd say, I'm Jewish, but I need my papers. She's got her papers. She's got a great pedigree and a great legacy, and they're incredibly important in our family. Bethany, please.
Avery, you did such a beautiful job, and I'm so grateful to be part of the same village as you and your family. David and I will just do our best to, rule our little universe. On behalf of the sisterhood, it's my pleasure to give you these candlesticks that you can use to bring Shabbat into your home. And I'm just really glad that your home, your congregational home, is here at B'nai Zion, and we've loved having you as part of our world as a child
Thank you.
We now call upon the president of the congregation, Ms. Kathy Plant. I know, I don't know why they left it on the floor. Just don't step on it. They're not good at this. For a while, Arden was the young one, and she and Kate would clean up, and they were good at this. I don't know. What do you have to teach the next generation how to clean up after you.
I'll meet you halfway.
Well, come here, we need a microphone, though. So come on over. It's okay, you can come over. You can come on over. Right here is good. I'll give you your stuff.
Avery, all I have is a piece of paper, but it's really important. It says that you have been called to the Torah and conducted the Shabbat evening service this evening. And so we're presenting it to you on behalf of the congregation on the occasion of your Bat Mitzvah. We're so, so proud of you. And I'm just the climax. You heard from your parents, you heard from other members of the congregation. You and all of them are important to all of us. We are that family, and we welcome you.
Thank you.
Oh, and a little bonus here. On behalf of NIFTY, we have a $250 gift certificate presented on behalf of your Bat Mitzvah toward a trip to Israel. So we hope you will take advantage of that.
Thank you.
Now, she gets to sit down,
And I get to say
and
more.
you get to say more.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And to those of you online, Shabbat Shalom as well. A special mazel tov to Avery and her family. Please join Amy and David and the family for an Oneg Shabbat dinner after services. It'll be down in Lefkowitz Hall. We will have a 9:45 a.m. Zoom Torah study tomorrow and 11 a.m. service. Both of these, again, will be on Zoom. Rabbi John's Ethical Dilemmas from a Jewish Perspective is at the Oaks of Louisiana from 2 to 3 this coming Wednesday, and it is also now available for people wanting to join on Zoom. Next week, Friday evening service will begin at 6 p.m. in person and on YouTube, followed by a Zoom Oneg Shabbat with Rabbi Jana. The annual meeting of the North Louisiana Jewish Federation is at 10 a.m. next Sunday, not this Sunday, but August 1st at Agudath Achim. Anyone from the Jewish community who donated at least $25 to the Federation is eligible to attend. Hear about the plans for scholar in residence, holiday programs, trips to New Orleans and Israel, the Israeli-Palestinian concert, and a presentation about the project to save the Bnei Zion building on Cotton Street, and more. If you want to include names in this year's memorial book, the deadline is August 23rd. The form is available at the Bnei Zion website to fill out online or print out to get to the office. The printed packets are scheduled to be mailed this next week. Donations were made to Bnei Zion Sisterhood Flower Fund in memory of Avery Can Jr. by Nell Can, in memory of Abraham Adler Hirsch by Jonathan Hirsch, in memory of Elaine Toys by Sharon and Elliot Goldman and Goldie Maris, in memory of Sarah Yellen by Gary and Harvey Yellen. Shabbat Shalom, stay safe.
Shabbat Shalom, thank you. Oh, what flavor do you like? They're all there. I believe, so one of the wonderful things about a simcha in the Jewish community is it's not a large community, and Agudath Achim is here with us tonight as well. Do we have someone who is going to read the announcements for Agudath Achim? Thank you. Another guy who gets to be president for life a bunch of times. Of everything, of men's club, everything. Yeah, so.
Good Shabbos. I say Mazel Tov to Avery, and Amy and David Brainis and his extended family. And it's wonderful to be here together with everybody, both houses of worship here. Everybody's together celebrating. So for announcements, we have a Havdalah time for tomorrow night would be at 9:08 p.m. We're having a big men's club breakfast Sunday morning. It's going to start with a Shacharit service at 9 a.m. And we're going to try to stay to a schedule here. And around 10 a.m. we should start breaking out breakfast, so lox, bagels, cream cheese, grits, eggs. Since I don't have a gift for the B'nai Mitzvah girl, I'm going to say, well, you can have free breakfast, you and your family. So, we have a suggested donation of $6 for all the others. And we're going to also have a vote on our rabbi's contract, so we're going to try to do that at 11. We have a lot going on Sunday. So let's see, after that, we're going to show our film. We have a DVD of Leonard Nimoy when he was in Shreveport back in 1998. It should be interesting. Some people have seen it when he was here in person, and it's been 23 years, so a lot of us haven't or forgotten it. But Leonard Nimoy was here, and he talked about his upbringing as a Jewish kid in Boston and how he got into acting and how his Judaism helped him in acting. And it's pretty interesting. It's almost an hour long, so everybody's invited to come see that. And we're also going to be having a book sale. So we're going to have a lot of books out there, and we're going to try to get rid of them. If you can offer a $1 donation, that would be appreciated from everybody for the books, if you're interested in any of the books. I'm sure everybody's heard this, the Come to Israel with the North Louisiana Jewish Federation, which is February 14th through the 24th in 2022. If you're interested, contact Rabbi Feifel. I'll just mention, and I've been telling our congregation that if you don't have your passport ready and you want to go, it's time to start looking into getting your passport ready for that. Thank you to Katrina Coleman for sponsoring our Kiddush lunch, and to Dr. Richard Zweig for leading the Shacharit. Oh, that's for tomorrow at our service. We'll have a Kiddush lunch after. And then, if members of Agudat Chachim, please submit your forms for Oneg sponsorship and also for the Book of Remembrance entries. You can contact our new office manager, Tessa Miller, for that. Thank you. Good Shabbos.
So at this point in our service, I get to give a special blessing to Avery in front of the open ark. So I'm sad to say I'm going to ask you to please rise while I'm blessing her. You're not going to get to hear what it is that I'm saying. You can start turning slowly to page 148. But as we pointed, what? No. Leinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoi haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu k'chol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And on page 149 in the middle we sing, V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. Thank you. We continue on page 151. Oh yeah, you need a book, don't you? There's one with your name on it. Yes, you sit. You're done. For a few minutes at least. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. In our congregation, we acknowledge the lives of people who have been lost, even those people we don't know, but people who have been a blessing. We acknowledge that to lose one life is as if we've lost an entire world. May we not lose sight of the enormity of the loss of so many individual lives. We honor the memories of these people who died this past year. We have lost 5 people in the United States military this year. We've lost 165 people in the United States who are police officers, including 78 who were COVID-related deaths. There were 3 in Louisiana, but I am sad to report that we had a loss today. We lost a sheriff's deputy today. We don't have a name yet to report because the family still had not been notified. It was a very tragic death. We've lost 10 canine officers this year. We've lost 61 firefighters this year, including 22 that were COVID-related and 1 from Louisiana. And I don't have to tell you all of the numbers, but we have lost almost 11,000 people in Louisiana to COVID, and over 760 in Caddo, over 610,000 in the United States, and over 4 million people in the world. So I appreciate everyone who is doing their part to protect each other. Rabbi, would you please join us? As we said before, we are joining each other's congregations today. The names that we are reporting now are the names that have either died along the whole year that we acknowledge and honor their memories, or people who have died who have not yet been buried. I have no one connected to my congregation who has died and not been buried. Do you? So we continue then on page 151. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. I invite you to turn to page 152. Avery said that this in particular had meaning for her this year. It is hard to sing of oneness when our world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives most fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone and every life finds purpose. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us during these past 30 days. We remember Jean Stein.
Dr. Burton Siegel.
And we remember parents, the congregants' parents who died within the past year. We're remembering Sophie Lipo, Robert Talbert, Joseph Paris, Artis Robison, George Rothkopf, Henry Brenner, Ron Riley, and Fred Phillips. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom Agrithachim is observing Yortzeit this past week include
We are remembering Clifford Bayer. We are remembering our beloved Rabbi Leo Brenner, Barnett Brownstein, Larry Freeman, Sonny Isidore Dine, Hazel Dibner, Clara Cantor-Fish, Max Shore, Chashke Wenger, Morris Thurman, Charles Murov, Dr. Raymond Murov, Jerome David Hernader, Morris Bachik, Irving Selber, Sarah Yellen, Nicholas L. Brody, Solomon Rubenstein, Rabbi Charles Mantonband, Sidney Rochelson, and Bessie K. Harold. We're also remembering from the past month Olivia Hendricks and Betty Duprest.
our Yortzeits, you may notice, include some of the same names because we have many families that have members both congregations. Those for whom we're remembering this past week include Mary Goldstein Abramson, Paul D. Abramson Sr., Dr. Arthur Anisman, Clifford Bear, Virginia E. Bergman, Avery Ken Jr., Florence Goldberg, Dr. Leonard Goldman, Albert Goldschall, Carrie Heidingsfeld, A. Adler Hirsch, Henry T. Meyer, Bertha O. Miller, Rosa Morris, Charles Murov, Fane Phelps, Sam Rubenstein, Nada Murphy Shaw, Lisa Weber Shields, Horace Simon, Barbara Weiss Simon, Ben Sauer, Paula Sauer, Elaine Toys, E. Ed Weil, Sarah Yellen, and Doris Zwick. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise, as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154. The translation is on 155. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. We have a treat that we have not had in way more than a year, and that is that since we are having a meal together, we also have to do a challah blessing together. And Avery has requested that Kate and Maddie and Arden and Garrett come up and do the motzi for us, please. What's under this? Okay. Wait, yeah, we don't know what's under there yet. Come here. You can't bless a thing that we don't know what it is. Ready? Go. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for adorable challah bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. All right, that's just for the four of you. Take and grab. Take and grab. No, take and grab. It's for the four of you. I didn't see you wash your hands before you did. I'm just kidding. There's more challah on the tables for everyone who stays and joins us there. No, it's just you. Thank you. I'll take the microphone. Did you get the challah? Watch out for the candy. Nobody picked it up. So don't fall on the candy. But at this point in time, I am going to invite you to please rise for the closing benediction. And after the closing benediction, we are going to do a closing song. But we're going to do something where we're going to... I need Avery's help in blessing the congregation. And then we're going to let Avery and her family start making their way to the Lefkowitz Hall so that they can greet people. Ha! You blew it, dude. No, just kidding, just kidding. He says, can we take pictures now? Because they were supposed to be here at 5:30. No, you don't need pictures. We saw you up on the BMO. You did that selfie. We're good. We're good. We know what we look like. So she's going to help me bless all of you. And then I'm going to let the family go while we sing them out. Ready? You ready? Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you. Because like I said to Avery, God has something that God looks up to you about, especially if you're wearing really tall shoes. May God grant you peace. Shabbat Shalom. All right, so I told you that if you're good, Avery, are they allowed to sing this one again? They can? Okay.
Yeah.
So they're going out this way, and you're going to sing with me, and once they're out, we can go to bim bam,
Hold on, I need to take
bim
this
bim
off
bim
really
bam, bim 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 bim
I
bam,
need to take this off and put it in the bag.
chiri bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Go have dinner. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom. You can go out the back too. Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam. Turn it off. Tim bim 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 bam. Bim bam, bim 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 bam. Bim 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
I've been to Daisy and Bella and Sophie Weiner around their same age group, so we've seen each other before, but I don't think we've ever been introduced.
Thank you. Tell me your
It's a
name.
great city. Sloan.
I do remember that. I remember the name Sloan. I love that name. It's a good name.
I like parents named me after Ferris Bueller.
That's awesome.